Google Search Console, structured data errors under enhancement reports. In this video session, we're going to look at bad escape sequence in string, and I'm going to show you how you're meant to fix it. Now, as I've covered most Search Console related problems, whenever we're looking at structured data issues in Google Search Console, we can experiment by looking at certain examples. We can look at the right hand side, but that doesn't really help us to fix certain structured data errors, particularly bad escape sequence in string. So I'm going to show you different approaches for fixing this problem. Structured data on a particular website or a web page may encounter bad string in sequence, all this stuff, right? And that could be confusing for most website owners. What we can do to fix structured data problems is use rich results tester. We can paste the URL that is having the problem, or depending on the type of schema markup your web page is using, you can press on Ctrl U on the keyboard and see the code. Okay, so you have two different options. I would encourage you to use the code method if you're using JSON-LD structured data, because that's much easier to identify problems, because you're then looking at the code itself that is having the problem. So then you simply copy the script, JSON-LD script, and paste that into the code option. Okay, so you have two different approaches. If the website itself is having a lot of different structured data and you're thinking, there is bad escape sequence in string, you want to find out exactly which ones they are, you can use URL option. But as I've said, if you're using a particular schema markup type, for example, local business or course info or videos and so on, then it's actually simpler to identify JSON-LD code from your web page, paste the code in there, and conduct the test. To be able to fix structured data errors on any website, you need to have access to the code that is generating the schema markup, whether it's built into your theme, whether you're using plugins or apps that generate schema markup. You need to be able to edit the code. Typical content management systems such as WordPress, since it's popular, a lot of people use plugins to add schema markup. If you're using popular Shopify store, you may be using a schema markup app. If that's the case, you cannot actually fix structured data errors, because only the app developer can edit the code. But if your Shopify theme has built-in structured data into the theme, then you need to edit the code of your Shopify theme, okay? So in this example, I'll actually generate bad sequence in string character to see exactly what's going on. Let's imagine this scenario. Let's imagine we put apostrophe here and another one here. And now let's actually conduct the test, because now I can show you, as in I can generate unparsable structured data, incorrect value type, and it's getting confused here, right? So that's incorrect value type. So what I'll do is I'll actually copy this code from my website, remove the code, paste that in there. That's the raw code, and that should generate bad sequence, bad escape sequence in string. So let's press on the problem. On the right hand side, Rich Results Tester shows us certain information highlighted in red, as we can see. Basically, Rich Results Tester is highlighting the problem area that is having bad escape sequence in string. What does that mean? This is what that means. In certain programming languages, when we end up using double quotes or apostrophes and single quote, then the code may get confused. Like so. Let's imagine we were doing something like this. I'll zoom in so that you see. And let's, instead of using double quotes, let's imagine we use a single quote. I'm looking at my local code for my schema markup for a typical WordPress site, right? But it doesn't matter how you're generating the schema markup. Bad sequence in string basically means this. Here we have a property called review body. We have a colon. Then we're saying this is the review body, right? And we have used the single quote and then another single quote. And yet, as we can see, the word can't has a single quote. So at this moment in computer programming, that's the review body. So therefore, that's what bad sequence in string means. The sequence is bad and it must be escaped. How do we escape it? We use the backslash operator. Okay? So, I know this hasn't highlighted the color, but that is how we escape the bad sequence. What that means is, if the structured data on your website has this particular problem, then it's just a matter of escaping using the backslash. That will fix bad escape sequence in string. As I've said, you need to identify the problem area using Rich Results Tester, and then take a look at the double quotes as in the property that you're mentioning, and then the text within it, which is a string in programming, and then you need to escape it. In this example, on the left hand side, that's escaped already. So if I run the test, now we would not have any problem. Actually, yeah, that, as we can see. So it's the backslash. Usually that is how you fix this particular issue, and it could be confusing for most web developers who do not have programming skills. So let me wrap it up. In Google Search Console enhancement reports, if the report is telling you that there is a bad sequence in string, what you need to do is press on the example URL. On the right hand side, Search Console, being your website's friend, may highlight certain schema markup code, but you know what? It's actually smarter to use the Rich Results Tester, because then you have more control over the code, so you can see line by line instead of everything being highlighted here, which doesn't really tell me what the problem is. But Rich Results Tester will. As I've said, it's just a matter of editing the code, making sure the string is escaped properly. Usually you'll use the backslash to escape certain characters, whether it's double quotes or a single quote. That is how you fix Google Search Console structured data errors for bad sequence in string. I thank you for learning with Rankia, and I'll talk with you in the next video session.